Hello students, this is Dr. Kinnariben. The lecture is for Semester 1 students, English medium. The subject is Accountancy 1, the compulsory subject irrespective of any subject group. The name of the chapter is Consignment Account. Now, first of all, understand the meaning of consignment. What do you mean by the consignment? Or we can also pronounce consignment. Both are the same. Consignment is one kind of a business arrangement. If any manufacturer or owner of the goods wants to expand his business to another location without investing any permanent capital, then one of the business arrangement can be opted as consignment business. In consignment, the owner manufacturer, who can also be known as a consigner of the goods, send the goods to the seller. Here the seller will be termed as consignee without transfer of ownership of the goods. Understand one thing, there are two parties: consigner, the owner of the goods; second party, consignee, the receiver or the seller who actually sells the goods to the customers. Third thing, there will be no transfer of ownership. Further, the consignee performs of the sale of these goods on agent capacity. Here the consignee acts as an agent of the consigner. He is not liable any loss occurred on the sale of the goods. Further, if any profit on sale of these goods has to be sent back to the consigner. Thus, there are two parties, one consigner and consignee. Consigner is the owner of the goods and consignee is seller of the goods who actually sells the goods to the customers. Consignee is the agent of the consigner. Consignee is not liable for any loss and he is not receiver of any kind of a profit. Consigner, who is the owner of the goods, actually bears any loss or gains from this business. There is no transfer of ownership rights of the goods. Further, consignee will receive the commission for these services. Here the consignee only acts as an agent. So the service, like a service rendered by the consignee on the capacity as an agent, must be paid. So here the consignee will receive commission, and normally the commission is based on the sales made by him. For an example, if the consignee receives if the consignee sells 1,000 worth of rupees 1,000 goods, and the commission rate is 10%. So at the end of the consignment business, the consignee will receive 100 rupees as a commission. Let me explain this whole concept via example. For an example, we will take a day-to-day life example. For an example, like dairy business. Fine. Let's take popular brand Amul. Fine. Amul is a cooperative society, we all know. But for an example, for an imaginary illustration, if owner of Amul wants to sell his milk products to another city or to remote area such as Kanyakumari or whatever, fine. Now, if he wants to sell uh, in his own capacity, he has to invest in Kanyakumari to buy a shop or to rent a shop, employ regular staff. Now, without incurring such expenses or such fixed investment, fixed capital, Amul owner can contact any local seller of the milk products at Kanyakumari. What will Amul owner do? Amul owner send his goods on consignment agreement to the local owner or a local seller of the Kanyakumari. Kanyakumari seller will just distribute this goods received by Amul owner in his area. He has shop, he has staff, he has every other facilities to sell these products. Here, Amul owner only sends the goods. He is not selling the goods to the Kanyakumari owner. So there will be no transfer of ownership rights. Furthermore, there are two parties. Here, Amul owner can be termed as a consignor and the seller of the Kanyakumari will be termed as a consignee. At the end of the consignment business, whatever the profit had been made in Kanyakumari will be rendered to the Amul owner in Gujarat. If there is loss, it must have been bared by the Amul owner in Gujarat. In behalf of or in lieu of this all services, Kanyakumari owner will be receive some kind of commission. Normally, this commission is some of the percentage of sales made by him in the Kanyakumari. I hope you can have greater idea what do you mean by the consignment. Now, if we talks about the accounts, how many accounts to be prepared in consignment accounting, or we can say accounting treatment, we will see from two point of view in the books of consignor and in the books of consignee. In the books of the consignor, there have been prepared three accounts. One, consignment account, second, consignee's account, and third one is a goods sent to the consignment account. And in the books of the consignee, only consignor account should be prepared. In the example or in the illustration asked in university exams, normally in the books of the consignor, examples are repeatedly asked. So, first of all, how many transactions are there in the consignment business? Here are some of the journal entries I had listed in both the books, in the books of the consignor and the books of the consignee. The first entry is for goods are sent on consignment to the consignee. The consignor will send his goods to the consignee on consignment business. Consignment account debited to the goods sent on consignment. Remember one thing, consignment account is a mixture of profit and loss account and trading account. There is a no balance sheet. Fine. Whatever the profit or loss happened in this business is transferred to the general profit and loss account. There is a no fixed assets investments or there is a no long-term funds are created for this business. So there will be no balance sheet in this kind of business. Only trading and trading expenses or inflow or outflow of the goods or only profit and loss account expenses and gains should be considered. So consignment account is nominal account and it is a mixture of profit and loss account and trading account. So for the goods sent on consignment to the consignee, first entry, consignment account should be debited to the goods sent on consignment account. For an example, if it is a partnership account, you already studied in 12th, if there is a purchase of goods, you had write down on the debit side of the trading account. Here, it is not a purchase, but you receive the goods or you sent the goods to the consignment business. Actually, it had been sent to the consignee, but the goods are for the consignment business. So it is an inflow of a goods for the consignment business. Hence, we will debit the consignment account and the goods sent on the consignment account should be credited. At the end of the year, the goods sent on the consignment account had been transferred to the trading account. Whatever the balances are there in the accounts of goods sent to the consignment account, it should be transferred to the general trading account. Now, consignor must have paid some of the expenses while sending the goods. Fine. In our case, if Amul or any owner of Ahmedabad want to sell his good Kanyakumari, he incurred some expenses such like delivery charges or octroi or freight, whatever there are. So, if you are giving the entry in the books of the consignor, you should be thinking from the viewpoint of consignor. So, your consignment account should be debited, because if any expenses are there, your trading account or profit and loss account should be debited, and consignment account is your mixture of profit and loss account or trading account. So if the expenses occurred, the consignment account is debited and cash and bank account should be credited, because you are giving the entry in the books of the consignor. Fine. In the books of the consignee, there will be no entry. Fine. The third one is a cash. If for advance or security against the goods sent or received from the consignee. While sending the goods, the consignor may demand some of the amount either in a cash or in a form of bills receivable from the consignee for the security of the goods. Fine. Because the goods are worth of some rupees and you are sending to the consignee, so it will be the responsibility of the consignee to maintain those goods in a proper condition. And if consignee will give some of the money to the consignor in advance, then cash or bank account should be debited. And if consignee will give bills receivable, then bills receivable account should be debited and consignee account should be credited. The entry in the consignee's books will be consignor's account debited to cash or bank or to bills receivable account. For maturity of bills receivable or discounted bills before the maturity date, if the consignee will give bills receivable to the consignee as a security of the goods, and if the consignor will discount such bills receivable before the maturity, then the entry will be cash or bank account debited, consignment account debited. Here the discount amount should be debited to the consignment account to bills receivable account. In the books of the consignee, there will be no entry. For expenses incurred by the consignee as per the account sale. Now, when consignee receives some kinds of goods, he also incurred some expenses such like clearing charges, custom duties, or godown rent, or octroi, freight, selling expenses while selling these goods. Now these expenses are exclusive for consignment business, and these expenses must be paid by the consignor, but it had been paid by the consignee. So while settling the accounts at the end of the consignment business, consignee must be remitted these expenses paid by the consignee. So here expenses incurred, so consignment account should be debited and consignee's account should be credited. For sale of goods by the consignee as per the account seal. Now, if there is a sale and if there is a bad debts, the bad debts must be bared by the consignor. Then bad debts is one kind of a loss and lost must be debited. So consignment account should be debited and consignee's account should be credited. If the next entry is for the commission payable to the consignee in lieu of the services remitted by the consignee must be paid the commission. So the entry will be consignment account debited because commission is the expense of the consignment and consignee's account should be credited. The next is profit and loss account. If there is any profit, consignment account should be credited, and if there is a loss, consignment account should be debited. So these are the entries. Generally, there are 12 transactions are there in your syllabus, which are popularly asked in university examinations. The chapter is very easy, and if you are able to remember this 12 transactions, it will be be helpful in calculating the practical sums. Further, these are the three proformas you are going to prepare, or you are going to prepare these three accounts for any sums. Remember one thing, from this chapter 14 mark sum has been asked in past university papers. The consignment account is covered by unit 1. The entire unit 1 is for consignment account, and 25% syllabus consists of this chapter. So you must have to remember these 12 transactions. 11 or 12 transactions are there. You already understood what is the consignment, what are the different accounts has to be prepared in books of the consignor and in the books of the consignee. What are the 12 different accounting entries? These are the accounting entries. While calculating the practical sums, accounting entries, journal entries is the key significant point to calculate the sum correctly. And this is the proformas of various accounts in the books of the consignor. First account is a consignment account. Once more I am repeating, consignment account is in nature of nominal account, and it is a mixture of your trading account and P&L account. If there is a purchase or inflow of goods, you write down on debit side of the trading account, and if there is a sale of the goods, you write down on the credit side of the sales account, trading account. In same manner, if there is an inflow of goods, you write down on the debit side of the consignment account. If there is a sales by the consignee, you write down on the credit side of the consignment account. If there is expenses, you debited the trading account and profit and loss account. In the same manner, if there is any expenses because of the consignment business, either paid by the consignor or consignee, you have to write down on the debit side of the consignment account. And if there is any gain or gain, must be credited to the consignment account. There are some of the significant adjustments are there, such as consignment stock valuation. Second one is fire claims. Those adjustments we will study when we are going to calculate the practical sums. Now, first of all, see on the consignment account, the first entry to goods sent on the consignment account. Here the goods are sent, so it should be debited. Second is to cash or bank. The expenses occurred by the consignor while sending the goods, such as freight, insurance, purchase expenses, whatever. Third one is a 2 bills receivable. Here the amount should be taken as a discount if the bills receivable received by the consigner from the consignee, and it has been discounted in the bank before its maturity. There will be discount expenses, and these discount expenses is due to the business of consignment business. So the discount expenses must be debited to the consignment account. Fourth entry is the consignee's expenses. Whatever the expenses are there, it has been paid by the consignee, but the expenses are for the consignment business, hence the consignment account should be debited. Next entry is the commission paid to the consignee's account. The consignee will receive commissions for the sales made by him, or for the services rendered by him for the consignment business. But the commission is the expense for the consignment business, hence consignment account should be debited. On the credit side, there will be entry of the sales. Now this sales has been done by the consignees, so we are going to receive the sales proceed from the consignees, hence the consignee account should be debited and consignment account should be credited. If there is any return from the consignee, if there is any return of the goods from the consignee side, it is possible that the goods are defective or not in a proper manner or not in a proper packaging, the consignee may return some of the goods. Then the entry will be reverse. In case of goods sent, the entry will be by goods sent to consignment account to the consignment account. Now, next two entries by profit and loss account and by insurance company. It is a case of a fire claims. If fire occurred or theft occurred or in any other event which will lead to the abnormal loss, then if the insurance is taken, then out of the total abnormal loss, the insurance claim should be deducted and normal loss has to be transferred to the profit and loss account. So the third entry on the consignment is profit and loss account debited to the consignment account and insurance company account debited to consignment account. Next one is a consignment stock account. At the end of the consignment business, if there is any stock, it must be valued and it should be shown on the credit side of the consignment account, same manner while you are showing the closing stock on the credit side of a trading account. If there is any loss, it should be transferred to the P&L account. The next one is a consignee's account. On the debit side, it is a sales, because the sales is of the consigner and it must be remitted to the consigner. Out of the sales, whatever the advance has been paid in form of bank or in form of cash or in form of bills receivable should be deducted. Expenses paid by the consignee for the consignment business, it should be deducted. Bad debts, if any there, it should be deducted. Consignment commission should be deducted, or at final settlement, whatever the amount is to be there, it should be shown on the credit side. One thing should be remembered, bad debts only to be shown in the books when there is no DEL credit commission. What is the DEL credit commission, how it is calculated, in which sales it is to be calculated, we will understood when we are going to calculate the practical sum. So these are the two proformas, consignment account and consignee's account. The next one is a consigned goods sent to the consignment account. It is a very small account. On the credit side, the buy goods sent on the consignment account should be there, and whatever the balances are there, it should be transferred to the trading account. So these are the general view of the consignment chapter. You had understand what is the consignment account, what are the accounts should be prepared, or what are the ledger accounts should be prepared in books of consignor and consignee, what are the 12 entries for the consignment business and the proformas of the consignment account. Thank you.